This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura Integra. $229 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moodius Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moodius Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodius.dental. Moodius Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodiusdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
It's game day at Toyota of Hollywood. Our all-stars are here to give you our MVP experience. Join the fun and feast on discounts up to $4,500. Huddle up and score big on a 25 Corolla. Not $26,000, $17,988. It's a tailgate party you don't want to miss. So gobble up the savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, Samu, not again.
Initiating Daddy's back.
Go!
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura ADX. $239 a month. It's the season of performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines. #1 in the USA.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning, boys and girls. Hope you all are feeling all right, I guess. I know it's a rough one after last night, but we talked a little bit about it on the post-game show. I don't know if I'm necessarily I'm disappointed, I'm sad, but I'm not mad. Hell of a season for the Canes. They lost to the better team. They had to play a perfect game. They didn't play a perfect game, and that's why you lose. You know, it was I was just seeing this on social media, and I think it was ESPN that put out this stat. Indiana did not lose a fumble over its final 1,047 offensive plays and 15 games. They only lost a fumble in the first quarter of its season opener. No other team since 2004 has gone more than 12 consecutive games in a season without losing a fumble. That's insanity. And that is why we talked about it on the show, that you needed to be the team that played against Ohio State yesterday. And you were the team that played against Ole Miss and still had a chance to win the game. That's insane. It's insane, you know, but that's kind of the way it went. And if you just take away the mistakes throughout the entire game, you win this game. But it is what it is. That was a team that had a lot of maturity to it. It was led by the best player on the field, because Fernando Mendoza was the best player on the field. Okay? You know, there's no two ways about it. He was the best quarterback on the field, and he was the best player on the field. And they were the better team. They were the better coach team. They were the better coaches. They ended up winning the championship, and they got what they deserved, unfortunately. You know, I say unfortunately because I'm a Canes fan. But I would have loved to have seen the Canes win, but they didn't deserve it, you know? So eliminate the mistakes, play clean football, play smart football, and you'll win these kind of games, you know? Unless you're so freaking talented like Canes teams of the past. See, this Canes team wasn't like Canes teams of the past that won championships, that some of them were so good they could make all the mistakes that the Canes made yesterday and actually a few more and still overcome it. Okay? And still overcome that. Crazy. But that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. Anyway. It is a beautiful Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. And yes, I've got to do it. It is day number 18,996 since the Miami Dolphins were world champions. And unfortunately, we did not reset that clock. It is day number 8,779 since the Miami Hurricanes were national champions. So I was hoping we would be able to reset that one, and I didn't have to mention it till maybe don't have to mention it for a while, because the committee on the show, which is two people, decided that once you reset a clock like this, you don't start it again till 5 years later. So we would have been able to start it 5 years later is when I would have started, hey, it's day number whatever. And then I could have done it. But we will continue the counting. What can I tell you? Okay. As expected, by the way, the markets opened up in red, of course, with all the whole Greenland crap going on. You knew that this was going to be, and then tariffs for everything. So, you know, it is what it is with this dude. The Dow is down 576 points. The S&P is down 82, and the NASDAQ is down 1.5 points. As for Bitcoin, let's see, did we fall under 90? We are at 9,605 right now. So it is what it is. All kinds of stuff. It's all right. I know one thing.
Bitcoin will end up. I posted it this morning. Like you've had all your presidents since 2001, Democrat and Republican. Doesn't matter to me. They're both garbage. 32.5 trillion they've added to our our $38.6 trillion debt was added from the presidents from 2001 till now. They added 32.5 of the 38.6. They've added most of that debt since 2001, and both sides evenly. So hang on for the ride. They'll continue to destroy the dollar, and Bitcoin will continue to go up and up and up. There'll be some, consolidation. There'll be some volatility, but eventually it'll just continue to go up while everything else goes down. So the math is there. It's really obvious. It's been going on for 17 years. It's either follow it and, it is what it is. But hang on for the ride, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on for the ride. All right. What do we got going on? By the way, David Furones will join us on the program. So we'll have a little fun with David. He'll join us at the bottom of the hour to talk a little Miami Dolphins. I think something happened. Some head coach, right? Something like that. On the Hafley hire, a lot of you have got to slow down. Either way, by the way. God, I haven't really heard it that much the other way, but there's a ton of people. Oh, it's a terrible hire. Dude, I get it. It's unsexy. Okay? Jeff Hafley is an unsexy hire. That doesn't mean it's a failed hire. That doesn't mean that the guy has no chance of succeeding. He might be a hell of a coach. He might be an average coach. He might be a bad coach. Head coach, that is. John Eric Sullivan might be a hell of a GM. Might be an average GM. Might be a bad GM. None of us really know. They're unknowns. And plenty of unknowns. Mike McDonald is in Seattle and, he's got a Super Bowl type team. And did you really pick Mike McDonald to be a Super Bowl caliber coach? Not really. But there he is. He could be on the brink of it with Sam Darnold, which is also amazing. You just never know. I'm not telling you that he's going to hit. I'm telling you, I don't know, and neither do you. And, okay, so you wanted Harbaugh, which was stupid because, if you have a brain, there's no shot at Harbaugh or Stefanski. They weren't going to come to this shithole. Okay, so you were going to have to get you were going to have to get an unproven coach, or maybe maybe a deeper retread like a Mike McCarthy, which is what I would have gone after, but that's fine. So he went with familiarity that he likes, because McCarthy's also familiarity, but maybe he has something with McCarthy that he doesn't like. I don't know. Or McCarthy's also up in age. This guy's younger. He gets to build with him, and not like a guy that maybe 5 years from now, 7 years from now, Mike McCarthy says, I got to go. And now you're at that whole thing where if Hafley hits, you'll have him here for a lot longer than that, right? So whatever the thinking of John Eric Sullivan, dude, he deserves to do whatever he wants to do. It's his opportunity. But you want sexy, like Harbaugh was sexy, right? Well, yeah, we got sexy. Wasn't his name Jimmy Johnson? Wasn't that sexy? We pushed Shula right the hell out the door because JJ was so sexy. How'd that work out? And please don't tell me he left the defense, because he also left me Dave fucking Wannstedt. Okay? Which Dave fucking Wannstedt made that defense get old. So please, shove the Jimmy Johnson comments where the sun doesn't shine. Okay? Just do me the favor. Okay? On this show, please, Jimmy Johnson is not held in the regard that some of you put him out there. Not on this show. Okay? He did great in Dallas. He underachieved with the Canes, and he certainly underachieved and was a freaking saboteur with the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so I don't even want to hear about Jimmy Johnson, but he was sexy. He was so sexy, we pushed the greatest coach out the door. And then we went for Saban. Wasn't he sexy? How'd that one work out? The little tyrant couldn't handle the NFL, so he left with his tail between his legs. Hey, we went and got the fat ass tuna. Wasn't that sexy? How'd that work out? So we've had the sexy, we've had the unsexy, the Joe Philbins, the Cam Camerons, Ted Ginn and his family. We've had them all. And they've all failed miserably. This place is such a shithole that Jimmy Johnson's career ended here, and he couldn't go anywhere else because he was done. Bill Parcells was done. Nick Saban wouldn't even come back to the NFL. That's the kind of shithole that this place has become. So let's not make it sound like you're special, because you're not special. You're a Dolphins fan. You actually root for garbage. So you got to take the dregs of society and the worst candidates or the most underrated candidates or the most undeserving candidates or whatever it is, and you got to hope for the best. That's all we can do. We got to hope that an unknown and like Howard Schnellenberger comes in and puts you on the map. And that's just kind of the way it goes. You're not going to get somebody established, somebody with a hell of a reputation that says, let me go there where every reputation is sullied. Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. So this is what you get. So stop complaining. Jeff Hafley might be a hell of a coach, and he might not. But don't act like he's going to be a shit coach, because we don't know. And by the way, last time I checked, since I don't know, okay, when Joe Philbin was hired, I said to people right away, this is a failure of a hire, that. Only reason I did that is because I knew several people in the building. And they all were telling me, why would you people hire that guy? And I was like, what? And all three of them told me that. All three of them. Two of the three, if you guys have heard this story before, two of the three told me I would have gone with Tom Clements. He's kind of an ogre, but I would have gone with him. Because apparently Tom Clements, he's the guy that developed the quarterbacks in those days. He's the guy that helped, I believe, Favre. I think he was there for the Favre transition into Rodgers. He was during that whole time, so he was part of both. So Clements was known as a quarterback guru because he wasn't necessarily the offensive coordinator, because McCarthy was the offensive coordinator. Joe Philbin was just like a passing coordinator. And so we ended up hiring the choreographer. We didn't hire the guy that really works with the quarterback and the guy that designs all the offenses and works with the quarterbacks. So it was kind of weird. And I knew about this. And so then that was one of the times where I came out on a new hire and I said, this guy's going to be a disaster because he doesn't have the people skills and he's not going to be able to build a staff. And he actually had a decent staff, but it wasn't a good staff at that moment, unfortunately. And again, it depends on your leadership, because your leadership will kill. Look at Mario Cristobal. Mario Cristobal is a guy that killed his coaching staff no matter what with his conservative ways. Then he lost SMU and Louisville. You notice how he coached after? All of a sudden, he goes, damn, I got to stop being conservative. And he kind of allowed his coaches to be their coaches. And instead of Wanstead used to do this also to offensive coordinators that he had. They would cross the 40-yard line, and immediately they'd hear Wanstead would say into the headset, and then the OC and everybody else would hear, all right, guys, we're in field goal range. Let's make sure we take care of the football. He was already in, thinking field goal instead of being super aggressive and all that, because Wanstead was a conservative guy. And you remember, those of you that remember, as he would talk about, playing defense, field position, all that kind of stuff. He wasn't the guy. Now, he didn't have the quarterback to do it, but he still, in his nature, he wasn't that guy. And he never really played at an aggressive level. So, let's relax. Okay? Let's relax. Let's give Jeff Hafley, let's give John Eric Sullivan an opportunity to prove themselves. We got nowhere to go. Okay? We're like Richard Gere in An Officer and a Gentleman. I got nowhere else to go. What am I doing? I'm jumping ship? I'm going to Tampa? I'm going to become a Panthers fan? I'm going to become a Packers fan? Is that what I'm going to do? I'm going to go become a Rams fan or something? No. I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm a one-team guy, okay? So I'm stuck with them. I got to hope the guy does well. But I'm not going to sit here and just say the guy's going to be terrible. And this is a bad hire because I have no idea. I'd like to see first what they pick. I'd like to see what kind of coaching they have. I'd like to see what kind of staff. I want to see them in games. I want to see if they can win games, if people are being coached up right, if they're building and actually getting better. I mean, there's a lot of things I need to see before I actually say, yeah, Jeff Hafley sucks. Yeah, John Eric Sullivan can't do the job. I don't know that, dude. I have zero clue whether they can do the job or not. I do know this. They both have the resumes that you need to be a head coach and to be a general manager. That I do know. Hafley's been around. I told you guys yesterday. What was it? Albany, Pitt, Rutgers, Ohio State, and head coach at BC for 3 years. He's been at Tampa, the Browns, the Niners, and Green Bay, and has worked his way up to defensive coordinator. The guy's been a head coach at the college level. He hasn't been a head coach at the NFL level, but again, you're a scrub team. You're not going to get the pick of the litter. So you get the next level guy, and maybe this is the next level guy. I don't know. You don't know. But let's give the guy a chance. Okay? Let's give the guy a chance. And I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass. I'm not going to tell you he's great. I'm not going to tell you that John Eric Sullivan is the second coming. I'm not going to do any of that. Okay? I'm going to sit back and patiently wait to see if something happens. If something positive starts to happen over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, and then we'll find out. That's all we can do. But let's give the guys a chance because none of us really know how this thing is going to turn out. Don't forget, folks, please smash the hell out of the like button. It's very important that you smash the hell out of the like button. You can hit the notification bell. That way you know when we go live. Normally it's at 10 a.m., but sometimes, like last night, we were on last night late and all that, and I get off the air doing the post-game show. I really don't go right to sleep. I kind of have to tire myself out a little bit more and watch a little bit more TV or something and watch some stuff and then go to sleep. So we started at 11 today instead of the regular 10 o'clock start because we went late. I got surgery tomorrow, by the way. I'll be up like at freaking 4:30 in the morning tomorrow. I get to operate my ugly elbows. I'm removing the bursa sac. So, because this thing is busted out a couple times, and so it won't go away. And so there's a small procedure. They do a little incision, and then they remove the bursa sac, and I'm actually gonna have my arm in a sling for a couple weeks too, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it should be fun times for me. Luckily, I'm a left-handed writer, so that is actually really good. I do mostly everything with my left hand, so thank the Lord. I got lucky on that one, but it would have been bad if it was the left, because then preparing for the show, because I prepare and do all kinds of notes and all kinds of stuff, so it would have been a challenge for me. I got to make sure I never have the problem with my left elbow, that I never hit it so hard that it just ends up screwing up the bursa sac. I don't even know how I didn't break my elbow when I hit it, so I guess I got very lucky. That's all I can say. Very blessed in the process. Don't forget, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. And send in your questions, comments, insults. We will answer them and read them like Mr. Adam Pinkser. Thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. He says, I figured Miami would hire Hafley all along. Not my first choice, and I'm concerned about his ability to hire a staff. But if Hafley can run the ball, get plays in on time, and manages challenges, he'll have my complete and total endorsement. Well, it won't be him because he's a defensive coordinator. So, yes, as long as he gets the proper offensive coordinator. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, this also for Weaver, he's got to be loving this because this frees him. We've got to be hating it because they'll be freeing him up because he's not going to be the defensive coordinator. Hafley's going to have his own guy with his own system and all that kind of stuff. And then Weaver can get a job somewhere else, but we will not end up getting the 2 third-rounders. So I would imagine that part is a little bit, we're hoping for that little break. It would have been nice, you know what I'm saying? Adam, thank you, sir. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Appreciate it as always. Thank you all out there. Let me see. Frankie Fresco. He says, no need to reset. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Thank you, Frankie. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Oscar says, Big O, if you still have your connections with Green Bay, can you please check up and find out about the new hire? I got one guy left there in Green Bay. They like him. They like him a lot. So, but I don't know. We'll see. So I can't. It's all positive right now for Hafley overall. Real positive. But it doesn't mean anything. He hasn't done this ever at this level and had to, produce. And now he's got to completely turn around an entire culture and all that kind of stuff. And this is not going to be an easy job for anybody. Forget Jeff Hafley. This is not going to be an easy job for John Harbaugh or Hafley or whoever. So we'll see what happens. Best thing you do, don't get your hopes up. That's the best thing you do. Stay level-headed. Don't be negative about it. Don't be over-positive about it. Stay level-headed. Just let's assess as we go along. That's all. That's all we can do. We can't do anything else. We're stuck with the ownership group. Whatever the old man wants to do, that's what we have to do, bro. I can't do anything about that. Let's see. Tim says, I remember you being very cautious about both McDaniel and Flores from the get-go. This level of optimism is definitely telling and gives hope. Actually, I got quickly on the Flores bandwagon. If I remember correctly, I got pretty quickly on the Flores bandwagon. Then I got off of it as time went on, and I saw his coaching and his offensive coaching staff was offensive. And then obviously I also then found out about what kind of an asshole he was behind the scenes. And then that really disgusted me. So but I did get on the Flores bandwagon early, and I did respect Mike McDaniel's offensive mind early on. I thought he had a pretty damn good offensive mind, but then I learned that he doesn't know how to use it. He can draw some awesome plays. Awesome, some great shit. But he doesn't know how to use them. He doesn't know how to, in what order and how to counter and all that kind of stuff. So he's a scatterbrain, and sad, but it is what it is. But this time around, I'm not getting anything. I'm not doing a damn thing. Okay, I'm gonna just sit here and go, prove it to me, show me. Okay, show me. And I'm not saying that you won a game in week 1 or you started the season 5-2. That doesn't mean shit to me. Show me that you can win. Show me that you can win in the playoffs. Show me that you can build a perennial playoff team. All those kind of things. I've seen plenty of coaches, over the years, make it to a playoff, and that's it. And then we think we're headed in the right direction, and then it all dies out. So I've seen all that. I've seen it from the Gases and the Speranos. I've seen it from Mike McDaniel. I've seen it from others. I don't care about that. I want to see if you can actually really win and win big and start beating real teams and start beating now the Patriots and the Bills, those kind of things. That's what I want to see. And then I can get excited. That's the way I'm going to look at things, unfortunately. So Tim says his prediction is Steve Shimko, Sean Mannion, or Connor Lewis for OC. Big old Dolphins need a tough SOB like John Gruden. John Gruden is as overrated as it gets. But hey, man, have at it. You guys, whatever, whatever, man. It's all good. You want to get gung-ho about voting for any president? You go ahead, bro. You go ahead and get excited about a Dem or a Republican. Go ahead. Go ahead and fool your ass, yeah, frauds are frauds. John Gruden is a fraud. By the way, he's Mr. Quarterback. What quarterback has he developed? What quarterback did he draft and develop? I'm sorry, I must have forgotten that. That's the problem. I love how people, John, oh, yeah, he knows quarterbacks. And yeah, I'm sorry, I must have missed it. What quarterback did he draft and develop? Give me a break, bro. He's a fraud. What else do we have here? Todd Weaver. Guys, they told you the plan was to bring in people to evaluate and draft. Hafley was an Ohio State super recruiter. Sully needs him. They have 2 drafts to get to the playoffs. We'll see. We shall see. And just get to the playoffs, Todd. Not good enough. I get it, Todd. You're a Dolphins fan. Dolphins fan standards are dog shit. Oh, let's just win a playoff game. No, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not about getting to the playoffs. It's about getting to the playoffs all the time. You miss it every once in a while. That's what it's all about. It's about getting to the divisional round often. It's about visiting the AFC Championship game every so often. It's about maybe winning a Super Bowl during a generation. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? That's what I need. I don't need, let's see if we can get to the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, a Joe Philbin sneaks into the playoffs. Adam Gase sneaks into the playoffs. A Mike McDaniel sneaks into the playoffs. And we think we've arrived and we haven't done jack shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jimmy Johnson, most of his runs in the playoffs were embarrassments. Embarrassments. Pretty much every season ended with an embarrassing loss in the playoffs for Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, Jimmy wasn't good enough. And he made it a couple times at least, but he wasn't good enough. So let's raise the bar. Because the people you want to beat often, you got to raise the bar, dude. Did you watch the defenses that played this weekend? I'm like, wow, our team is light years away from that stuff. Oh, man. Let's see. What else do we have? Anthony says, Dan tuned in too late. I need to see your thoughts on the new coach with the Packers. Are we JV? Oh, I already talked about that. I hear you about Brad Johnson, but there was a solid team and defense around us. Exactly. That's why they won. Yeah. What Gruden did was he kind of finished the offense. He got Brad Johnson. He got the tackle. Forgot his name now. Brought in Pittman, the wife beater, and Keenan McCardell. And added a couple pieces on offense that they needed, and then that's how they were able to get over the hump. But obviously, it was kind of like it was a blessing for 2 teams. Indianapolis needed slightly more defense. Dungy goes there, helps Manning get that level of defense that he needed to win. They got lucky. They also played Sexy Rex, but it is what it is. And then Tampa needed a little bit of offense with that defense, and then that got him over the hump. But he's not a QB guru. You know what I'm saying? QB gurus find QBs. Ron Wolf was a QB guru. You see what I'm saying? That's why Green Bay had success, because it was all started by Ron Wolf. This whole thing that they've done with quarterbacks over the years, that all comes from the Godfather. That's a quarterback guru. Andy Reid, he developed Donovan McNabb, okay, who wasn't the best passer in the world, and he made him good enough to win a lot of games. He got Alex Smith to play the most aggressive offense he's ever played in his life. And then he got Pat Mahomes, a raw dude, and made him one of the best quarterbacks in the history of time. That's a quarterback guru. Bill Walsh is a quarterback guru. John Gruden is a myth that a bunch of you idiots have created, because he has never, ever developed a quarterback, has never drafted and developed a guy at all. Okay? And if you watch his Tampa team that he went there, and he won the Super Bowl right away, but as you watch, the team got worse and worse and worse and worse. So that was the issue. So that's where, for those of you that still think, oh, you should have gotten John Gruden. John Gruden is a fraud, dude. But he's a good caricature. He's good for TV and sound bites and the look with the eyebrow. And some of you eat up that silliness, and you actually eat that silliness up for substance when it's not. It's chiffon. All right, here we go. Let's talk a little Dolphins. You got to be old to pick that one up. Let's go with the man, the myth, the legend. That is David Furones in our Welt and Rheum Miami Dolphins repo.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rheum Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
How you doing, brother? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. A little bit tired up late covering the game, and because I was out there at the national title game last night, writing an article. Actually, I wrote about
there. What time did you get? What time did you get there?
Oh yeah, I got there early. So I took a media shuttle since we had more people going than we had parking passes available for our company, which I wasn't far from where the media shuttle pickup location was, so that was fine for me. And then so I grabbed a 2 p.m. shuttle. So like you're leaving like at between 1 and 2 to get there. Take the shuttle, which was a police escort, so that part was all right. Security to get through, and then just like get out there early, and I checked out some of the outside that official tailgate party thing.
What time did you leave?
Oh, and I left. Yeah, like, what would it have been, like 1 something a.m.? Something like that. Like almost 2, maybe 1:30 a.m. So
I said yesterday when I started the show, I go, "There's one thing I don't miss, and that's that right there, dude. That's that right there. Oh my God." A half a day you were there. I mean, I've done it before. Yeah. You have to leave early because of all the security. And in your case, it was even worse because the Trumper was coming. So I would imagine that it was even worse on the security level. So, yeah. Oh, wow, dude. Yeah, I feel for you. So, yeah, you got to be dead tired after doing all that shit all day long yesterday.
Yeah. Still trying to get up at a normal, regular hour, for working folks. So, yeah, but it's all right, And then I had the pre-write ready for I already had it pre-written. Jeff Hafley, so it's like I was outside when Pitbull was performing when the news came out. So then just an editor pushes it through. Everything was already in there. Just had to be updated like it happened, and boom, had that covered because I wrote that in the morning. So. Yeah. Oh, and I had just come in from out of town for a friend's wedding.
Right.
Yeah, Tim Healy, the former Marlins writer. who has gone on to cover the Mets and Red Sox. Yeah, he was getting married in New York, so I flew back on Sunday night from that.
Wow, that is very cool. All right, so first of all, the Canes. I said last night on the post game show, and I'll stick with that. You can't be mad or pissed off or anything, but you could be sad and disappointed because they lost. But overall, dude, they weren't supposed to be there, and they had a hell of a season. They just played a team that was more mature than they were and better prepared for this kind of a moment. That's all. This Canes team was just a little green for these kind of moments. They weren't ready for that yet.
Absolutely, yeah. It didn't have the big game experience on the roster. I mean, experienced some of it maybe a little bit last year when Cam Ward took them on a little bit of a run. But even then, we're squeaking by against some lesser teams and didn't have the defense to go in and go on a run like this. This year, starting off with a win against Notre Dame, then that really sets the tone, that, especially with this defense. And then playing even though Florida and Florida State didn't turn out to be all that great, those were big games early in the season against rivals who still had something, Florida still had their coach for that game. Florida State was ranked and had come off a crushing upset loss to Virginia, but was a top 10 team just right before that, and they had beaten Alabama early in the season. So even USF was ranked when Miami played them. So had some big games throughout the year, and then pushing through at the end with the win against Pitt to win with style points, get in against A&M, Ohio State, Ole Miss, winning with a late drive. So a lot of experience for a lot of guys. You think about like Mark Fletcher's coming back and Malachi Toney, who is, he's doing what he did in a title game at 18, just turned 18 a few months ago. I know they're going to lose some dogs, on the line of scrimmage, especially Ruben Bain, Francis Mauinoa, but who are going to be first-round picks, Akeem Mesidor, of course. But I think Cristobal is building the trenches where it'll be sustainable. I know they've got some recruits coming in from behind them where you don't have to worry too much about losing the big guys up front. And then obviously they're going to hit the portal every year. So, I think the future's still bright.
Give me a big dog receiver to go next to Malachi. You don't have a big dog receiver, and you got to get a playmaking tight end, bro.
That was lacking.
Every great offense has a playmaking tight end, and the Canes, throughout their history, always had awesome tight ends to help them out. Miami had no tight ends, dude. They had no tight ends. Even the Vegas kid, he was all right before he got injured, but he wasn't what we're used to with the Bubba Franks of the world, or the Chazinskis, or
you're Brevin Jordan from a few years back,
or the Soldiers. Even Brevin Jordan was a hell of a talent. We knew he was very injury prone, but shit, when Devin Jordan was playing, he was going ball. You know what I'm saying? So they have to get back to having a constant tight end in there with all their offenses, because if you go back to the history, it's like a tight end U. There was always a tight end usually in all the great teams, pretty much. You know what I mean? And to me, a guy like Carson Beck, who is not an elite quarterback, he's a good quarterback. You got to give him that. So next year, when you bring in Darian Mensah, make sure you give him a playmaking tight end.
It's big. I mean, it hurt having Elijah Lofton out. He was a little bit of that guy in spurts.
He's all right. He's all right.
Right? He's not someone you're going to count on to be a big playmaker.
Bubba Franks, bro. It's not Bubba Franks. It's not. Yeah. What I grew up on was they had Bubba Franks, went from him to Jeremy Shockey, went from him to Kellen Winslow II, went from him to Greg Olson, even had Kevin Everett in the mix. Like, that was just one after the other. You always had a good tight end in the early 2000s with the Miami Hurricanes. No. This is all from the 80s on, bro. They've always
you were mentioning those guys. Yeah.
The whole history has always, all the good teams, all these QBs had a tight end that they could count on, bro. Always. And they did not have that at all this year, and you better get that again. You got to have it, bro. Every offense has got to have it. Even the Miami Dolphins, every offense has got to have it. You know what I'm saying? And don't get a guy that can only play a couple of games because he's injured most of the other time. You know what I'm saying? Miami Dolphins. So get a guy that can play all the time too. All right.
Well, just to wrap up that point, it makes it so much easier for the quarterback. Because you don't have to go outside to the perimeter so often, especially with the hash marks the way they are in college. Like if you go to the far side, those are long throws where the ball's in the air a lot. If you have someone who can dominate the middle, makes it easier. That's why young quarterbacks in the NFL, the saying is always they love to go to the tight end because it's a shorter throw, middle of the field. You can see them easier. So college quarterbacks, they're going to want that even more. It'll be a must for the Canes coming up.
High percentage pass. Too bad Mike McDaniel figured that out very late in his run, but he's a moron. But that's a whole different ball game. All right,
that's in the past now.
Yeah, the Hafley stuff. I was talking about this. None of us know, dude. Like you wanted Harbaugh. Well, we got Harbaugh. His name was JJ. We got Harbaugh. His name was Saban. We got Harbaugh. His name was Parcells. You got the sexy name, and you've gotten the unsexy names. The Joe Philbins and the Cam Camerons of the world and the Mike McDaniels. These were all unsexy guys that weren't really high on the radars and all that kind of stuff and all that. We had to see if we got to like them or whatever. So you've tried it all. You've failed on all of them. But the one thing none of us really know is if John Eric Sullivan can do the job or if Jeff Hafley can do the job. Let's just sit back and give them a chance. That's all we can do, dude. Really, that's all. There's really nothing that we can all stand on. Sullivan has a resume that he has earned this opportunity. Hafley has a resume that he has earned this kind of an opportunity. So this is the next step for each gentleman. Let's just find out, dude. To me, that's the attitude I think you got to take.
Yeah, it's like all right. So the lead in my story was it's looking like Green Bay Packers South right now is what the Dolphins are building. So hey, not a bad franchise to go build yourself off of and try to move off of everything that has plagued you in the past. So I haven't met John Eric Sullivan myself. He hasn't been introduced to the media yet. I know that'll be coming in a joint presser between him and new coach Jeff Hafley. So we'll get that at some point this week. But I liked a lot of the things that he said in the in-house interview that the Dolphins released. It's building a sustainable winner, one that can go into any elements and win, which, hey, the Dolphins, they're always going into a Buffalo, into a New England. Shoot, those are the two top teams in the AFC East right now. One of them in the AFC Championship game. Another one who has Josh Allen, will still have Josh Allen for several years to come, and was just an overtime away from facing the Patriots in this coming AFC Championship game. So, you have a tough division where you have to go into some elements sometimes. If you want to win on the road in the postseason, you have to. So I like his idea of, one, being able to build a team that can win in any setting, but then also building through the draft, which is what he's ultimately and imminently going to have to do. You're taking over. This is going to be a rebuild. I don't know if he'll use the word rebuild when he speaks to the media, when he's introduced this week, but that's what we're looking at, because you're about to have to move on from Tua, take on the huge dead cap hit. You're not going to go making a bunch of free agency splash moves. You got some draft picks. You got a couple of draft classes that you're inheriting, some building blocks that you're inheriting, but it's going to be about building through the draft, hitting on these picks. Doesn't make it. You won some games last year, so you're picking 11th instead of like top 5 or something, where it could have looked at 1-6 or 2-7. Well, it's about hitting on your picks, not where you're picking. So that'll be the immediate focus. Building a staff for Jeff Hafley, figuring out what they do at quarterback. If they bring in another Packer and Malik Willis and have him compete with Quinn Ewers, who you already have as the incumbent from late in the season. So do we really know about Jeff Hafley? We don't. We look at it on the surface and say, all right, he was 22-26 at Boston College in those 4 seasons. So oh, well, sub 500 college coach. Why should he be an NFL head coach? Actually, last night I heard from a lot of national college writers who knew him from covering him those years, and they all had positive remarks about him and saying you can't really put that on him. That's a tough gig to have, is to try to go win at BC with that program. I mean, we're seeing it with Bill O'Brien afterwards, so they put no blame on him for that record. And there's a reason why he's been coveted this coach hiring cycle, and he's been interviewing with just about every team that has an opening outside of maybe, I mean, the Giants looked like they were set on Harbaugh and they got their guy, but mostly every other team.
BC doesn't have an NIL, deal like some of the other schools in the ACC. That's why I was talking about it yesterday. Bill O'Brien's 9-16 right now. So the guy really isn't kicking ass in 2 years there because it's really difficult to win. Tom O'Brien went 75-45. Dan Hennings, who's a good coach, he went 16-19 back in the day with BC, and he was a good coach overall. Jack Bicknell was a very good coach, 59-55. Tom Coughlin went 21-13. Frank Leahy, who's a legend, went 20-2. But these were more of the earlier days with BC, when you were able to compete a little bit more, when Flutie was winning, a national title and all that kind of shit. It was a little different back then for college football. But as time has gone on, it's become a little harder. And so when you look at his record and you look at Bill O'Brien, who's 9-16, and he's 21-26 in the same era of the NIL, you got to say, okay, well, then he's a little bit better than Bill O'Brien. And Bill O'Brien was a successful assistant coach, in the NFL, and a successful head coach at times too in college. So all of a sudden, you got a little bit of a measuring stick. And I'm with you. All you hear are positive things. But in the end, dude, everybody's got to prove themselves. So we'll find out if you can do it. But the point is, Boston College has produced some pretty good coaches.
Yeah. And like you said, everyone's got to prove themselves. Even John Harbaugh, it's not guaranteed for him in New York with the Giants or in New Jersey with the Giants. Right. He's going to have to go prove it. It's not like, just automatically he's going to go turn them into a winner now because he's John Harbaugh. And you mentioned it, how Dolphins have had those sexy coaching hires. They got their Saban in the past. They got their Jimmy Johnson in the past. So, and you really couldn't go into this coaching search with the expectation that the Dolphins, with this situation, were going to go land the big fish as the head coach in this cycle. It was going to be one of the most likely those first-time head coaches trying to break in, or maybe one of the failed at his first spot head coach, like it might have been a Saleh, let's say. Stefanski, he ended up getting snatched up by Atlanta before the Dolphins made their move. He was the second one after Harbaugh. So it was never going to be like the biggest name this cycle. They would never be in the running for Tomlin once he became available. No, I don't really think Sean McDermott, unless he wanted to do the funniest thing ever and go to the Dolphins and try to beat Buffalo, switching rivals in the AFC East. You're going in a situation where you're taking on the huge dead cap hit with Tua as soon as that contract is off the books and he's released. So it's just you're taking something that it's going to take 1 year to then really start a rebuild, where maybe you keep some pieces here and there, but outside of that, it's going to be really a fresh start and one where you're hampered by that dead money from Tua for the first season at least. So not one of the most desirable jobs for the big head coach of the cycle, like a Harbaugh.
If I'm the Raiders, I go after Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
Because why? Because Brian Daboll is also available. So Sean McDermott and Brian Daboll can be reunited again with the Raiders, and you're drafting Mendoza.
Mendoza. Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense for the Raiders at this point in time, because they are, even though they're a disaster of an organization, have been, maybe the whole Brady thing, and now that you're getting Mendoza, that makes you look a little sexier at this point in time or whatever. I don't know. But that would be a place that I could see McDermott and Daboll ending up in.
I like that, yeah. And do the Josh Allen thing again, but you've got Dable sticking around. I think it'll take him some more time to get back into the head coaching ranks, which he would need to have success back as an OC to get back into it. But Fernando Mendoza, he is no Josh Allen physically, but boy, he looked like him on that touchdown run, just shedding off a tackler. I was in the press box on the very far end. And the way he got hit, I was like, yeah, no way. I thought the ball might have been loose. I thought maybe there was a fumble. And then all of a sudden I see his body is still diving into the end zone. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah. And by the way, you heard the coach talk about it after. That was a play design. And they knew the formation that the Canes would be in. And they expected that formation. And they created the blocking scheme. And that was the design play for it. And then he ends up, it was really more designed to get the first down, which he easily got.
Yeah.
But then he fought his way all the way into the end zone. So it became obviously a career highlight for him and a highlight reel for college football now. That's going to be on highlight reels all over when they start promoting the college football playoffs. Mendoza's going to be diving in the end zone because that's just, we saw John Elway do it for years. Yeah. So this is going to be the same kind of thing. And Nat Moore did it for us. He had a helicopter one too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You should look at the Nat Moore helicopter one. But those kind of moments are going to stick. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was a hell of a moment. And coaching, it shows you how coaching is so important, dude, because it puts your players in positions to be successful. It's up to them to make the play. But to have the foresight to know that it's coming and then to predetermine it and design it to block it properly. As Gnarls Barkley would say, ain't that some shit?
And Corey Heatherman, actually he said afterwards that he wanted to call a timeout, but obviously just didn't get it in. But like he saw it and then could see the way it was going, wanted to call a timeout, and then ultimately the Canes did not. So yeah, he could tell the formation was not what they needed for the look. And then indeed, next thing you know, Indiana snapping the ball. It's a ball, which is ballsy. Design quarterback draw on 4th and 4, where if you're Curt Cignetti, you look foolish and flat out stupid if you fail on that 4th down after burning another timeout. He lost 2 timeouts. If they would have still been up 3 and just turned the ball over on downs, and now Miami's got it, boy, we're not talking about Curt Cignetti the same way we are today if that doesn't go his way there.
No doubt about it. And don't forget, folks, Welton Rayon, proud sponsors of our program, 954-966-4646. If you're dealing with bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, call them, explain your situation. The consultation is free. All right, so tell me, are we going to have a dope summer?
A dope summer? Well, what's a dope summer to you?
Come on, bro, use your intelligence. What am I asking you? Indirectly, are we going to have a dope summer?
I'm not following, Big O. What? You must be more hip than I am.
Who wants something to be dope?
Sorry, I lost you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's over 260 people watching. Would you tell this man who wants something to be dope? Please put it on the chat board. I know that it might have gone this way on you, but there's other people that know exactly what I'm doing right now. Come on. Let's see on the chat board. Who wants a dope?
Let me know.
I know it means cool, dude. There we go, Nyborg. Is this going to be a dope summer? Tua would like a new start. That would be dope. So
that would be dope.
See how they're coming in now. Those are a little delayed, and those are all real. See, they picked up on it. Okay, so are we going to have a summer?
I hear the word around a lot. So Tua was the first one. I got it.
Right, but he wasn't mentioned by John Eric Sullivan. We all think he's going to get released and they're going to move on, which is what makes sense for everybody. So what's your gut tell you? Will it be a dope summer? Will we have a cut of the umbilical cord?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point. I think certainly you saw it once, or you would feel that way. You would lean that way once you saw Tua was benched at the end of the season. So I think that marked the end of it for Tua. And then not only that, now Tua's GM is gone. Tua's coach is gone. If Mike McDaniel was returning, I don't think Tua was going to be back for him. He had just benched him, and it was going to be Quinn Ewers. I mean, what Mike McDaniel was saying while he still had the job day after on Black Monday was it'll be competition for quarterback, and I don't think that meant Tua was going to be part of it. I think that meant Tua was going to be released, and Quinn Ewers would get a shot against mystery other competing quarterback. Yeah, I would venture to believe that the new regime coming in with no ties to Tua is going to look at that and say, we got to get this off the books, and we're going to start anew. It's going to make it very difficult to build any kind of immediate winner in 2026. But, hey, that lets you go build through the draft, this draft coming up, the one that's after that, and so on and so forth. So,
and by the way, you said before, which you don't know, and it's true, what you said is 100%, that we don't know if they'll say that they've got to rebuild, but it's obvious, bro. I mean, you have all this cap issues. It's all right if you have to say that you have to reset, retool, rebuild, whatever stupid adjective you want to use to kind of, whatever word salad, bro. I don't really give a crap. But anybody with a brain, I'm sure you have a brain. I'm sure you could figure out that you can't really expect a whole lot next year from the Dolphins. You just got to hope that you can show competency next year, that you're going to play like a respectable football team. But we all know they're going to be short on talent because they're going to be short on money.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Put 2 and 2 together. Yeah. It's not probably the extreme of what Brian Flores started with in 2019, where I thought that might be the least talented roster. I was covering UM at the time, and I was saying, just watching from afar, the Dolphins, I was like, that might be the record for the least talented roster, like adjusted for the era, and the guys you're going against of all time. It would be the 2019 Dolphins. And then Flores actually showed like he was building a culture where then they started winning these games surprisingly at the end, pulled off 5 wins. I mean, that's really one of the most remarkable coaching jobs, is to get 5 wins out of that 2019 Dolphins roster. So I don't know if you're looking for something like that where it's just, hey, the expectations aren't high. Just show that you have some kind of culture. Show, even if the results aren't immediately there, because that's going to come once you have your guys in there. But I think culture is more so what I'm looking at first and foremost, which I think you want to see one that's based on physicality, winning the trenches. That's how Miami, the Hurricanes got back, is prioritizing building inside out, the trenches first, and then you go from there. You're going to be in every ball game. If you're winning up front, you're going to have a chance against any opponent if you can win up front. And of course, you got to have some speed. But that's even easier when you're in South Florida. You can go. You'll find your speed. You'll be okay there. It's make sure you can manhandle people up front in the trenches.
Are you expecting them to clear out like Chubb, and like that's why I wanted Chubb traded before the deadline, because I would figure you're going to let him go at the end of the year because of the cap issues and all that kind of stuff. So what other names do you think might be cleared off? I know Tyreek and Chubb is probably one too. Is there a name that we're not thinking of?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll go from the top down. I mean, Tua, which doesn't help you with the dead cap, but you just got to do it to start.
I mean, actually, a caveat to that. Wait a minute. A caveat to the Tua thing. You also have to let him go on June 1st, because if you do keep him and commit to him extra, do you end up paying more money if he suffers any kind of injuries?
Sorry, if he suffers an injury, what?
Yeah,
His next
yeah. Are you tied to even more money by the end? Like when you're getting out now in the summer, it's a bad number, but could the number be slightly worse if you keep him on and he gets injured and then you, I don't know, have to fulfill the entire contract? I'm not exactly sure how much they might be slightly saving off of that if they are. I'm talking out of pure ignorance here. So that's why I ask you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any injury from a future team that has him would impact anything.
No. You don't release him in the summer. You keep him for next year, and somehow or another he suffers an injury. Are you ended by the time that contract is done, because the injury will end up probably accelerating some other guarantee or something. I don't know what the triggers are, dude. But I almost feel like if you do keep him on the roster and you risk it keeping another year, do you risk end up paying a little bit more money than you already are? That's my point. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure on that. I mean, if you keep him on the roster, which I feel would just be such a small chance of it happening, then I mean, because that was always the natural. Your first out was after the 2026 season, where you don't have to go deal with the big dead cap. I mean, you'd be in a good situation financially, where then you get actually it's like 21 million in savings 2027 if you were to cut him then after having him on the roster in 2026. It'd be more feasible salary cap wise, but it's just a matter of can you realistically do that after he was just. But now it's a whole new regime, so they could also decide, hey, like that was them. We'll keep you around for this year, let you go do your thing, which actually before he was benched, that was kind of my thought is just use the first natural out, which is after 2026. So, but I'm not sure how, if he were to get injured within the 2026 season, how that would affect, because I mean, I think then I think at that point in 2026, it would only be in season cap ramifications anyway, because you've already
sometimes an injury will trigger the following year some kind of a bonus or something, because of the injury will guarantee that they'll be on the roster or some crap like that. That's why I don't know how the whole thing is written out, but sometimes if you keep somebody on a roster, because I know the Russell Wilson thing was also an issue, that they were worried and they wanted to keep him away, because if he got injured, they were going to be responsible for even more money. And so that's the only reason why I say that maybe you also want to get out, because just in case you have him running the scout team and he makes the wrong step and he blows a knee, and then all of a sudden you're held more responsible for more into the next season when you had an out like you were talking about. Mm-hmm. Those are the clauses I don't know in his contract right now. So that's why I'm saying I agree with you. I think this summer, June 1st, you're going to take that partial hit on each side and just move on and just say, bro, let's turn the page. And by the way, this gives John Eric Sullivan an opportunity to get rid of somebody else's mistake, because if he keeps them for 1 year, it starts to add to his legacy. And that's probably not the way he wants to start. Just saying.
It'd be such an awkward situation. Just Tua's still around. He said it'd be dope to go get a fresh start elsewhere. Hey, it'd kind of be a fresh start when it's a new regime with the Dolphins. But that's neither here nor there. But I mean, to answer your original question, you're looking at a Bradley Chubb. You're looking at a Minkah Fitzpatrick, possibly Austin Jackson. Depending on what you can get for, because Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, those were the hot targets at the trade deadline. I would let go
Austin Jackson. I would not let go Austin Jackson. He's too cheap. He's not an expensive piece.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you wouldn't be set to save too much. I pulled up the chart here in front of me. Cutting him gives you 13.7 million dead cap and 1.6 of savings. So not great. Yeah, trading same thing. So it's dead money that that hits you with Austin Jackson. So
yeah,
it wouldn't be beneficial from a salary cap.
What's his salary this year? It's not a crippling salary, dude.
Base salary 9.8, and he's got a 15.3 cap number. So, it's significant, but it's just you don't stand to save from moving on from him. Actually, yeah.
Because if he does stay healthy, you're not going to find a better right tackle. And whoever you have at quarterback, Jesus Christ, protect the man.
Yeah. And has been good in the run game. I mean, he bulldozes guys. You can run right all day with him there.
Yes.
So,
I would take it and keep. I understand the Chubb one. I understand Tua. I understand Tyreek. I don't understand Minka.
Steeler could be one if someone wants a veteran D tackle, but
I would not let go of Sealer. He's such a good example in the locker room.
He's a good guy in the locker room.
Yeah, this is you're going to have a transition for the next 2 years. You're going to have some rough times. I need quality human beings in the locker room to keep the morale going. You got to have a Sealer, bro. I think Sealer.
The only thing is, what's he going to be the next time you're ready to win? The next time you're ready to compete is he'll be up there.
But Bubba, you have 3 young guys you're developing, so they're not ready to take over. So what you do is you can keep Sealer for the next year or 2 or 3, and then one of the young guys can then roll over next to however it settles. If it's Grant and Phillips, Grant and Biggers and Phillips, whatever combination. But you have 3 guys, and you might end up developing 2 starters in the process, not just rotational players. And then but you need to buy some time for that. You got to, and plus you're in their rookie deals. So this will buy you time. So you keep Sealer there while you're developing those 3. And those 3 have Sealer to lean on and learn. His importance is invaluable in the locker room, on the practice field, on the playing field. To me, Sealer is one of the most important people that you keep when you're trying to do what you're trying to do right now with Hafley and this guy. You got to have some people that are quality human beings and players to kind of rebuild the whole roster around. That's
he's another one where it wouldn't help you if you're trading him before June 1, but after June 1st, then you would, and it would be nominal at best. $4.6 million you'd save. Trading him post June 1, but it would go against the cap actually if you trade him before. So it also wouldn't be beneficial to him. So to the franchise from the salary cap standpoint. So
because you haven't hit year 3 of those deals. That's the problem. Once you hit year 3 of those deals, then you can start to kind of make a move. And we haven't hit that for Austin, and we certainly haven't hit that for Sealer. And then
Sealer just got this money too.
Right. So you got to give it a couple years before you're going to have the flexibility that you need. That's why I'm saying that in the next 2 years, while the other youngins are developing, you can keep Sealer, and it's really not a problem. All right, what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, just coming off obviously the busyness of covering the head coaching search. So now that's complete, and the Dolphins have their guy. Following up on that, I think actually Perk is writing for us today after I wrote the Hafley story and covered the college title game. Then might take it easy today. Might write a little Q&A, get some fan questions in, and then later on this week they'll be introducing the new GM and coach combination for the Dolphins. So we'll have all the coverage of that.
Will they continue or I think they've discontinued the talking in the Senior Bowl? They don't do that anymore, right?
Yeah, and I don't believe that'll be happening this time around either. So even though new regime, but as far as like official,
that's been phased out, right? It kind of phased out the last couple.
Phased out a little bit, yeah. So it might be this introductory press conference that comes up, and then. Probably the combine, and we'll have a lot of. I mean, now Hafley's going to go build his coaching staff, so we'll have a bunch of news on the guys he builds his coaching staff with. Might look into that, and maybe we start to see some of the roster moves, maybe closer to the combine, that Sullivan starts to make on the current roster, whether it's a decision on Tua, whether it's cutting someone else pre or post June 1. We'll start to see some of that trickle down at some point. I think the next thing would be putting together the coaching staff for Hafley. That'll be the next big thing on the docket once he gets settled in, once he gets introduced and everything else. And in a month's time, it'll be we'll be at the combine.
Amen. All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Got it. There you go. Welt and Rayom. We love talking about Jeff and Dan. They are the bookend tackles you need. So if you're dealing with bankruptcy, which unfortunately there's a whole bunch of credit card issues right now. We've got real estate issues. People are having problems with their mortgages, homeowner property damage or condo damage or personal injury. Any of these kind of things happen. Call Jeff and Dan. Explain your situation. The consultation's free. They'll tell you if you have a case, criminal defense, commercial litigation, any of these situations you're dealing with, business owner claims, call 954-966-4646. Tons of our listeners over the last 6 years have called Welt and Rayom. Listeners in South Florida, on the Gold Coast, on the West Coast, in Central Florida, all over the place. And by the way, when you have damage to your home or your condo, your business, never call the insurance companies. You call Welt and Rayom first. They will send their adjusters because those adjusters will be working for you. When the insurance company sends their adjusters, those adjusters are working for the insurance company. So they're not going to really get what you deserve. Make sure you get the right people, and then they call the insurance company on your behalf. You never have to deal with the insurance company. That's a headache you never have to carry. It's a burden that is lifted. The only thing you do is pick up a check at Welt and Rayom. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welt and Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welt and Rayom can help.
All right. By the way, Carson Beck, young man, that was sad yesterday. Not just the performance, not just the terrible interception, but the fact that you walked off the field and you didn't congratulate the winner. And I know that Mark Fletcher had a scuffle with one of the guys, and Fletcher's pretty cool, so I don't know what that other guy was saying to him to trigger him. That might have been pretty bad. But Fletcher came out and congratulated Mendoza. He showed a lot of class doing that. Where was Carson Beck, dude? He's kind of an odd bird, I got to tell you. Had a solid year. I know that interception will be one that there's really no explanation. I don't know what the hell you were looking at. I don't know why you threw that pass at that time, whatever, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of questions. But I got to really question that you didn't have the common decency to go congratulate the other quarterback, dude. Like, you're the face of the team. You're the leader. You've got to rise above all of this, and you've got to be a pro. By the way, you are getting paid, so you're a pro. Handle it a little better. Okay? There's a reason why one guy is going number one in the first day of the draft, and why the other guy that refused to shake hands will be taken sometime in the third day of the draft. That was disappointing. That was classless on Carson Beck's part. And that to me was just unacceptable. Okay. There you go. By the way, Sean, do you know anything about Abdallah Danger? No? Not at all? You don't know who Abdallah Danger is? Well, I didn't know myself until last night. But Abdallah Danger got some airtime on the game yesterday, and apparently social media was freaking out because she's a famous porn star. I'm sure. Is anybody like? Let me see on the chat board. Did somebody say porn star or something with Abadella Danger? No, it hasn't come up yet. Because I would figure somebody on the list actually knows who I had no idea, but I read the article this morning that apparently they showed her like reacting in a moment, like they flashed to fans, and so the camera flashes to her, and they obviously the cameraman, maybe the cameraman knew, who knows, maybe the guy's a porn fan. I have no idea. You never know what we all do behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? So you never know, but they showed her, and then everybody started reacting. Of course, fans from the porn industry. Hey, that's Abadella. And so she became a talking point last night. Porn star in the limelight on national television. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. The amazing Alan Blanco. If your company, corporation, school, entity, you need custom printing and embroidery, please reach out to Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. You could do this anywhere in the country anyways, right? You do all of this by Zoom and all of that kind of stuff, and you send the logos through email and all that. So call them, 786-618-1443. They'll have it done and shipped out to you like a bunch of you have. Actually, the number one thing, we've had some uniforms, some shirts, some hats, all kind, but the number one thing that's been ordered throughout the last couple of years has been field trip shirts, like for big corporations or picnics or kids or whatever. And then they print a shirt so everybody's wearing the same shirt. And then when they're at a picnic or they're at some kind of an event, they're going to Disney World or whatever it is, that's actually been ordered a lot. It's interesting. So they do all that kind of stuff. So reach out to the great people at 3A Graphics. Last night, Indiana defeated the Canes 27-21. They finished the season 16-0 and winning their first national championship, that is. The Canes, unfortunately, failed in their attempt for their sixth title. Warriors over the Heat, 135-112. But the 8th-seeded Warriors still lost because Jimmy Butler tore his ACL last night. Bam Adebayo was outstanding with 4 points on 1 of 13, shooting 0 of 5 from three-point range. Miami will take on Sacramento tonight at 10 o'clock. Miami is favored by 2.5. The over and under is 238.5. Miami is minus 140 on the money line. Sacramento plus 120 on the money line. The Sharks over the Panthers, 4-1. Bob has 24 saves. He also took part in a really weak fight. Kachuk also played last night, did not score. Thursday, they're at Winnipeg. The Fort Lauderdale United, they are enjoying their time off. They're off till the end of the month on January 31st. They'll be back in action taking on Lexington SC at 7:30. You can get your season tickets at ftlutd.com for the second half of the season and that playoff push at Beyond Bankcard Field. And the Tennessee Titans have signed Robert Salah as their head coach. So Cam Ward gets his head coach. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. By the way, was he waddling last night? Stephen Ross won. He got himself another natty. He gets Super Bowls. He gets natty. You know, it's awesome. He doesn't give a shit if the Dolphins ever make the Super Bowl. There's always a Super Bowl in his house every few years. Even if the Dolphins don't make it for 40 years, he's going to have several Super Bowls. So he wins. He's going to have several big championship games and even a national championship game. Yeah, he's going to have his big concerts and festivals. He'll have his F1 race. He'll have his tennis tournament. The Canes will continue to probably now pack the house. They're clearly the better team in the stadium now. The better product, the better value is going to a Canes game, not a Dolphins game. The Dolphins game is actually a ripoff, not a value. The Canes game is actually now a value because compared to the Dolphins, the tickets aren't nearly as expensive. And you get a hell of a lot more bang for your buck. Interesting, right? Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Has the market gotten any better? Let's see. Dow is down 554 points. The S&P is down 90. The NASDAQ is down almost 2 points. So the Trump dump continues. Let's see. What else do we have here on the show? Mendoza's father and Mario were teammates, yes, and friends at Christopher Columbus High School, yes. Very strange that no walk-on offer was made to Mendoza. He was a 3-star back in the day. And it was Manny Diaz when he first came out. And then Mario ended up getting Cam Ward 2 years ago and then got Carson Beck. So, and Mendoza became Mendoza this year. So you didn't know that Mendoza was Mendoza until this year. Let's be honest. Miami beat Mendoza when he was at Cal. Right? That's all hindsight. You know what I mean? Because what are you going to do? You're not going to take Cam Ward? And by the way, I think there was, yes, by the way, Mario made a late push for Mendoza last year. Yes, I think he did make a late push for Mendoza, but Mendoza stayed at Indiana on the transfer portal thing. So he did make a late push, but he still stayed with Indiana. I think that's how it goes. Karun says, Abella is getting more championship action than the Finns. Bleak times we're in. So it's Abella? Because that's not how I saw it in the article. They spelled it a lot longer. I think it was Abadella. But I don't know why I saw that. Let me see. Let me see if I seen things or I saw what I saw. Let me see. Might be right. Yeah, that's it. No, it's let me see. I think you are correct. I don't know why. Yeah, Abella is it. I don't know why I thought it was Abadella. I don't know why I thought that. Well, Abella. Anyway, I'm glad you porn guys were correcting me on that. We have $70 million in soft restructures on rosters right now. Yeah, dude, just deal with it. The Dolphins will suck next year. That's kind of the way it goes. And they may not be very good the following year after that. You're going to you're going in through a transition over the next couple of years. That's kind of what it is. I understand if you want to walk yourself off the ledge and you want to lie to yourself. No, it'll only be 1 year. The following year, we'll be ready to go. And, you go ahead and lie to yourself if you want. But it's going to take the man a couple of years to kind of fix things. Hopefully by year 3, you can be a respectable team. That's what I would aim for if I'm a Dolphins fan, to at least stay in a realistic point of view. Understand that you're not going to be watching we don't even know if we'll ever watch great football, but you're going to be watching a transition over the next 2 years. you're not going to be watching great football. There's a good chance that that's not going to be happening over the next 2 years. Okay. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it becomes, amazing and it explodes, but it's hard to imagine that right now, the situation that they're in. What else do we have going on? Oh, we have the spreads for the AFC and NFC championship game. New England is favored by 5.5 against Denver with no Bo Nix. The over and under is 42. New England is minus 260. Denver is plus 210. On Sunday at 6:30, it's the Rams at Seattle. Seattle's favored by 2.5. The over and under is 47.5. The Rams are plus 130 on the money line. Seattle's minus 150. Unless Sam Darnold F's it up, Seattle should win. Okay. And I was more of a Rams guy throughout the year, but the last quarter of the year, you just can't deny what Seattle is, dude. They are monsters. Absolute monsters. Really impressive. Let's see. What else do we have? If Ward was on this current UM team, I feel like we would have won the Natty. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. He's a better quarterback, that's for sure. And by the way, Cam Ward, he still said at the end of this year, well, you can still throw across your body in the NFL. And luckily for him, he's basically on an expansion team. He'll end up learning that lesson one way or another. But outside of that, he should be good. He'll he still did it this year, and he got away with it several times because I watched his games. But he's going to end up getting tripped up on it because he did say that at the end of the year. And I'm like, no, dude, it's not something that you do. You can get away with it once in a blue moon and in a moment that you maybe have no choice or something, but it will not be a thing that you're going to do commonplace. But luckily for him, he was on such a bad team that it allowed him to make all his mistakes, and they kind of went unnoticed because there's nothing on the line. And that's really good because it kind of sucks when a young guy, it sucks and it doesn't, but when a young guy walks into a really good situation, if he F's it up, it stands out like a turd in a punch bowl. But in a case like this, where you're with a bad football team, even a bad coach, your mistakes aren't going to be magnified because the whole team is terrible. And so what you end up doing becomes more of a bright spot than anything else. So it was actually a real perfect scenario for him to make his first year in. I still think he will make that mistake because he still has that cocky thinking. But you have to think like that. If you're a quarterback, you have to think like you're Superman, no matter what. You have to have that mentality. You have to be positive, and you have to be super confident, cocky, maybe to a point where it might even piss off somebody else. But for me, I think these kind of athletes have to be like that. They have to be like that. And so Cam thinks like that. But I think he'll still have some growing pains as the team gets better. But, man, it is the perfect scenario for him to grow. And hopefully now Salah, I'm not exactly sure how it is, maybe Salah, will get the right OC in there and help the kid really grow, and hopefully they get the right talent around him and all of that. But what a perfect scenario for him to grow in that first year and make whatever mistakes he was going to make. So good for him. But, yeah, I kind of feel with you that if you had Cam last night, maybe you win. Yeah. Just saw Mendoza's younger brother, Alberto, going to the portal. They're bringing in TCU's QB next season. What else? Big O, isn't it predictable for us Heat fans that we're seeing Jimmy Butler's body breaking down and now he suffers maybe a career-ending injury? It's probably not career-ending, but he gets to earn his money the easy way. Doesn't have to work for it the way he likes it. So, I don't know, but how many times was I saying on the show that you got to get rid of him because his body's breaking down and all that? I don't know. How many times did I say, Sean, that Jimmy Butler's little body is breaking down and he can't handle the wear and tear? Well, there you go. Half a season, ACL, history in the archives. You know, I don't wish it on the guy or anything like that, but karma, you blow out your knee against Miami. Wow. You know, I don't know. I don't know. You just wonder, is there a message there, you know? Like, yeah, dude, you got your money and all that, but there you go. You're not winning shit in Golden State, which I didn't think they were going to win anything. I think it was Shams, who, you know, he has to do this, but he puts out, you know, devastating injury for, how was it that he put it? That is, you know, kind of sensationalized. Yeah, let me see. I'll pull it up here on mine. Where are we at here? Here we go. Golden State Warriors star Jimmy Butler has suffered a season-ending torn ACL, sources tell us. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. That's not the one. That's not the one. All right. Golden State Warriors crushing blow, a season-ending torn ACL for Jimmy Butler. They're the 8th seed, bro. Crushing what? So they could get in the play-in? Like crushing? Like, is this like you're losing SVG from not SVG, is it? What is it? What's the name of the kid for OKC? What's his acronym? Oh damn it. Anyway, like you lose him, like that's devastating because you're the number 1 seed.
Is it SGA?
SGA, that's it. I think I said SVG or something. SGA. You lose Wemby. That's devastating. You're the 1 or 2 seed. You know what I'm saying? That's devastating. You're the 8th seed. You're a scrub team in the playoffs. You're embarrassing as it is. You're spending all that money on all those guys, and the best thing you can do in the West is be an 8th seed. Are you anywhere near San Antonio and OKC? No. Devastating. Devastating. You won't be in the play-in. Hilarious. I love it. Anyway. Too funny. By the way, for those of you that love a little music like I do, Men at Work has got new tour dates out. So go check it out. For us Florida folks out there, July 16th at Pompano Amp. I'll be there for that. I'm going to go with the wife. I like Men at Work live. They do a good job. July 17th at St. Augustine. And then July 18th in Clearwater. So just in case, if you want to get tickets, go for it. Enjoy yourselves. And Colin Hayes still sounds awesome. And his band that he has now is fantastic. So looking forward to it. All right. Let's do a little music since I talked a little bit about that. Let's get into musicians celebrating birthdays today. Matthew Tuck, lead vocalist for Bullet for My Valentine, born in 1980. Rob Burden, drummer for Linkin Park, born in 1979. Sid Wilson, American DJ, keyboardist, pianist, and turntablist or something like that for the Grammy Award-winning band Slipknot, born in 77. Who else? Tracy Guns, born my year, 1966. Celebrating a birthday, the guitarist and founding member of L.A. Guns. Rusty Anderson, lead guitarist for Paul McCartney on tour since 2001, born in 1959. Paul Stanley of Kiss, born in 1952. Ian Hill, bassist for Judas Priest, born in 1952. George Gratham, vocalist with Poco, and also was part of Buffalo Springfield, born in 1947. And that is it for musicians, I think. Oh, Billy Powell with the OJs, born in 1942. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Ron Townsend from the Fifth Dimension, born in 1933. And there you go. Now we got it. Now let's go with famous people. Remember, if I don't give you an age, that means they are no longer with us, unfortunately. Comedian George Burns, born in 1896. He died like at 101 or 103, smoking cigars every day. Everybody's DNA is different, too. Actor DeForest Kelley, born in 1920. Actor Patricia Neal, born in 1926. Astronaut Buzz Aldrin, born in 1930. He is 96, still with us. Let's see. Filmmaker David Lynch, born in 46. TV personality Bill Maher, born in 56. He's 70. Actor Lorenzo Lamas, born in 58. The Renegade is 68. Venezuelan Baseball Hall of Fame member Ozzie Guillen, born in 64. He's 62. Didn't he say some like stupid positive shit about Castro once or something like that? And like the Cuban community went crazy on his ass or something. Can you look that up? That Ozzie
Is when he was the Marlins manager.
Right. And he said something positive about Castro, right? Or something. Is that what it was? Yeah. What a dumbass. Oh, man. Actor Rainn Wilson, born in my year, 66. He is 60. TV personality Stacey Dash, born in 67. She's 59. Actor Reno Wilson, born in 69. He's 57. Actor Skeet Ulrich, born in 70. He's 56. Questlove from Roots, that wasn't on the musician side, 55 today, born in 71. Let's see. Actor Evan Peters, born in 87. He's 39. Musician, actor, I don't even know this guy, but I got to say it because what the hell? His name is Joey Badass. And the S's, and the two S's are money signs. Born in 95, he's 31. I have no idea who that guy is, but his name is Joey Badass. He's a musician actor. I don't even know who he's a musician for. I don't even know if I've ever seen him acting. But the guy's name is Joey Badass. Happy birthday to you, dude. Happy 31. A very overrated draft pick and quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, born in 2003. He's 23 today, the overrated one. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, sir. Dante Chin turns 30. Joy Giovanni is 48. And Machine Gun Carl Anderson, he turns 46 on January 20th, 2026.
Wait a minute. Joey Badass is not on that list?
No, he has not made it to the WWE area yet.
Okay. All right. Can you just look up who is Joey Badass? I am dead serious. I have no idea who Joey Badass is. And the two S's is money signs. Okay? Make sure you write that shit correctly there, Sean. Okay? Don't use bad grammar. Don't use actual S's. So tell me who this fool is. Now we're wishing a happy birthday. Don't forget Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff. Bitcoin is under 90,000 at 89,640 now. So there you go. The Trump dump continues. Yes, sir.
Oh, he's a rapper out of Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. All right. A rapper
He's
out
part of the hip hop group Pro Era in 2011.
Never heard of him.
And he's done, let me see his career here. He did a lot of mixtapes.
Oh. Okay, whatever. All right. Okay. We got the skinny on Joey Badass. Okay. And we found out where he's from.
And he has done some acting as well.
Okay. All right. So
did some episodes of Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, not iRobot.
No, not iRobot. He also was in the Wu-Tang and American Saga, Grownish, and Power Book 3.
Okay. All right. And?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Also, we found out.
I'm from Brooklyn.
So he's from Brooklyn. Okay. All right, Joey Badass. He's on Power. Oh, the show Power with Lala? That Lala is fine as hell, bro. Man. Anybody follow Lala's IG? Whew. That woman has more looks. She reminds me of Jennifer Garner in Alias. Okay? Lala has that thing that she can do the same thing that Jennifer Garner did in Alias. That she could like change all kinds of looks, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, wow, okay. You look great in this way. You look great in that way. You're like, wow, this is it, you know? And Lala does the same thing, dude, on IG. She has all kinds of looks, and they're all outstanding. So I have watched Power on and off. I can't say that I'm an occasional watcher. I'll run into it and stop and watch it a little bit. That's what I've done in the past. But especially because Lala is there, you know. So I will be a little biased and tell you that there was an agenda why I stopped. Okay. You know, what can I tell you? So it is what it is. McDaniel would not be an OC genius in Mac. We ran the most stupid offense in the history of the NFL. We did. We ran a really dumb offense. Let's see. Big O, have you seen Ross' interview on YouTube for Bloomberg? Yeah, I did. Yeah, and what's the deal? What'd you find out that the kids were going to run it? I think I've been telling you that for a while here, that the kids are running it. That he got a $15 billion offer, who cares? He's not selling. So it doesn't matter what offer you get. I don't know what else you got from the interview that I'm missing, if there's anything, but there was no breaking news there. People are like, oh, well, we found out that he is going to do. Well, yeah. Like, that's old news. Of course he's keeping it within the family. Once he kicked out his partner, his daughter became the play. And then because his daughter has a husband, so now the husband, the son-in-law, is now making all the decisions that Stephen Ross has made over the years will be made now by his kid, by his son-in-law. So not sure about that interview, if there's anything else that you want to talk about, but at least the people that listen to this show religiously, they already knew that the sun was taking over because we've been telling you that for a while. So I didn't see any. For me, there was nothing newsworthy out of the interview, personally. What, the 15 million? I don't care. Did you sell it? That's when it's news. I don't give a shit what anybody offers you. You're not selling. I know you're not selling because you people just like to make money, and you're going to make a lot of money. So I'm not sure if there's anything on there, Oscar, that I missed. Please bring it up, but I don't know what I missed there. Big O, where did I see the game? I saw it at home. The best place to see it, at home with my wife and my dogs. And that's it. My daughter was upstairs. She doesn't care about football. She'll watch the Panthers. She won't watch football, baseball, basketball, soccer, but she likes hockey. She likes hockey. She goes, you want me to sit down? And we're like, no, man, go do your thing. You know, because she doesn't like football. She just doesn't get it. She's not really big into sports at all, but somehow or another she likes hockey. That's the one that she does like. Yes, sir. Well, I don't have. Go ahead.
I think finding out more about the whole Mark Fletcher incident with him throwing a punch.
Right.
Apparently, one of the catchphrases for the 25-26 Indiana college football the team through the playoff is "Who's your daddy?"
Oh yes.
So I guess a lot of the players might have been running around, and maybe I'm just. Because I know how Fletcher is with his dad, I'm guessing maybe he thought he said, "Who's your daddy?" to him. And with that might have been what sparked some of that. So I'm just going through some of the stuff that's playing out today on some of that incident there. Because I know he did go up to Mendoza and he congratulated him and everything else. And then all of a sudden.
Fletcher is all class, bro. I'm not worried about him. To be quite honest, Sean, I knew that there must have been something that triggered the young man because he's quality, top to bottom.
Yeah, 100%.
Top to bottom, bro. You know, Mark Fletcher is as pro as it gets. So there was something there, and maybe that's what it was. That's some good insight there. The Carson Beck stuff is what I have a problem with. Okay, that's what I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with Mark Fletcher because you kind of know who Mark Fletcher is, so there's more to that story. Mark Fletcher is not going to act like that at all. So if he's acting like that, something was said or maybe misconstrued or misunderstood or whatever. But yeah, that. But I have a big problem with Carson Beck. You know, big problem. I thought that's as classless as it gets. You're not going to come out and congratulate. You're not going to come out and congratulate the opponent. And by the way, you're Carson Beck. You need to go out and find the head coach and the quarterback. And, you know, anybody else that you run into, you congratulate them too. You don't just walk off the field like a sore loser. Yeah, dude, you made the boneheaded play. Okay, it is what it is. You got to live with it. Be a pro about it. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. Send in your questions and comments. Ocala Joe says, my alias is Joe Badass. Ocala Joe is Joe Badass. I like it. Ocala Joe. That's a good alias to have right there. That won't bring any attention to you at all. What else do we have? Juan Rosa says, want to watch a good show? Sprung is one of them funny. Thank me later on Prime. Sprung. All right. Sprung on Prime. We will check it out. Okay. Let's see. A real professional doesn't throw hands over words. Well, yeah, sometimes you don't want people reading lips and all that kind of stuff. I don't really care about that. As long if if you're complimenting somebody or communicating, and maybe you're also saying a bad word or two and you don't want it to come out, and you just never know. People misconstrued it and they think, oh, this guy's ripping this guy up or tearing it. No, dude, no. I was just saying, wow, what an effing great game it was. What an awesome job by you. You effing guys deserve it, or whatever, something like that. And then all of a sudden you see the F word coming out and you think it's something else. So I understand when people cover their mouths. I don't have a problem. I have a problem with you not being a professional and that you lost the game. And because you're a sore ass loser, you're walking off the field and not, complimenting the winners. I find that to be, pretty sad. So. The realist says that's the problem. We all have these crazy people in the streets because we don't hold anyone accountable nowadays. That is true. When is the next time I'm going to the Big Cheese? Friday, I'll be there in the afternoon. Lenny Pena says, Lala is so fine. My goodness, Carmelo was eating good for a few years. I mean, I don't know how you screw that one up. You know what I'm saying? If I'm married to Lala, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to have fun every night. Or every night that I can. Okay? I'm going to have as much fun as possible. So, yeah, I don't, me being married to Lala is like being in Applebee's. Yeah. It's always like being at Applebee's because you're eating good in the neighborhood. So, I don't know what, but then again, we're talking about Carmelo Anthony. We're talking about a king-sized dumb individual. We're talking about a guy that every time they told him, do you want to win or do you want money instead? He goes, no, I'll take money. So winning is, being married to Lala. He's not into that. So, you could just kind of tell by the decisions that some of these morons make. Screwing it up with Lala. Are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. I can understand it, though. If he's a good kid, I hope he didn't hurt his draft status, but sure, he will be a good NFL running. Oh, that has nothing to do with, it's not going to do anything to his draft status whatsoever. Whatsoever. Yes, sir.
He's returning to the Hurricanes next year, so he's not even in the draft.
Yep. But that won't hurt him at all. He's definitely an NFL running back. I don't know if it'll be a first round, but he'll definitely be gone by the second round. Guaranteed. Too good, man. The guy is way too good. Okay. Don't know who that is. Somebody announcing a tour dates in North America, but not necessarily my cup of tea. What else? Yep, you mentioned it like 3-4 months ago. Oh, about the kids taking over? Yeah, I mean, this was kind of like, But then again, that's what we do on the show. We usually give you some stuff ahead of everybody else. Valentino Clemente Ludovico Garavani. What a long name. Rest in peace. Oh, yeah, that's right. Valentino from the clothing line, from the fashion world. Yes, he passed away. Yes, sir. You are correct. Or as they used to say, correctamundo. That's what they used to say. I don't know about that. Todd Weaver says we need a Kalen Black, not a Mendoza at first pick in the draft. No, not right now. They don't need a running back at this point in time. I wouldn't say that that's a priority for the Dolphins. Dolphins need to build the lines, is what they need to do. Build the offensive and defensive lines, my friend. They gotta get to the point where they're dominating at the line of scrimmage. And then that'll open it up for everybody else. Let's see. JWR Carson Beck looked like he just walked out from smoking a bong. What a sore loser. Big O, if you watch the Miami Notre Dame game, Notre Dame used that same QB draw. Indiana copied it. Well, the coach talked about it in the postgame show, how they planned it and how they schemed to block for it and everything, that they expected that formation from the Canes. And when they got it, it wasn't for a whole touchdown, but it was to get the first down. And then Mendoza just took it to the extreme and fought his way into the touchdown. And it just became, a glorious highlight for him for the rest of his career. And obviously another signature moment for him, the fact that he's, a Heisman Trophy winner, the fact that he has led his team to a 16-0 record. That is ridiculous, dude. And the stat I read to start the show, just in case, since we're, 2 hours later from that point, maybe some of you weren't listening at that point or watching, but the stat, Indiana, okay, and this is led by this quarterback, Indiana did not lose a fumble over its final 1,047 offensive plays and 15 games. They only lost a fumble in the first quarter of its season opener. No other team since 2004 has gone more than 12 plus consecutive games in a season without losing a fumble. These guys did it for 16 games, or 15 games. 15 games. You know what that is? You know what consistency that is? What maturity, what focus, what concentration? And that's why Miami lost. Because all you got to do is look at all those moments, all the penalties, the mistakes, the turnovers, whatever it is, blocked field goal, a block punt, that is, all of that led to the missed field goal. Everything led to the loss. You had your moments, but unfortunately, you choked in all those moments. And this team wasn't going to choke. They were going to come through in all their tough moments, and they kept coming through in a lot of third downs. Miami started converting more of them in the second half. In the first half, they were terrible. But it showed you the maturity, the concentration. It was there for Indiana all the way through 16 games, dude. They didn't lose one. Miami lost 3 games. That's a huge difference. Huge difference. And when you think about that stat, wow, how do you maintain that level of concentration for 15 straight games and pressure-filled games here for the Big Ten championship and then the playoffs? Are you kidding me? So Miami, no shame. They did awesome. They have nothing to be ashamed. You shouldn't be mad or pissed off. We all can be disappointed and depressed about the loss. But Indiana was just better, dude. And they proved it in every way possible on the coaching sidelines, on the field, and their play. That's it. That stat is ridiculous, dude. That's why you go 16-0, because you're going to win the turnover battle every damn week. And that interception and the blocked punt right there. That's why you have to play with, incredible perfection. And in the past, Miami has not had to do that. They didn't have to do that because they were so gifted and they were so loaded, way more loaded than any of these teams right now that you're seeing. But they're not there at that level. I don't know if they'll ever get to that level again. Those 86s and 87s and 91s and 2001 teams, they were freaking loaded, bro. So this team had a good team, but it had to play perfect because you were going up against a team that knows how to play perfect football. That's why we said it at the beginning, the team that plays against Ole Miss, that one shows up, they lose. What you see last night, the team that played against Ole Miss, and they lost. If the team that played against Ohio State showed up, they would have won this game. But that's not the team that showed up yesterday. I already did music history, Oscar. Let's see. You said it. Mark says Miami made too many mistakes. The team played at almost error-free football. That's right, Mark. That's on Twitter. So Frankie says the numbers Jimmy was putting up were pretty good for his age. Yeah, it doesn't mean I know he could put up numbers, but I also know that his body will break down. And by the way, again, I'm sorry, Sean, is this hindsight that I kept saying that his body will break down? No. Okay. So I just want to make sure, because I don't want to sound like other people that do radio or whatever, and then they try to brag about stuff after the fact. Okay? I think I repeated over and over again, his body is worn down. Don't extend him. This guy will be dealing with injuries all the time. You got to move from him. And Pat Riley and Mickey Harrison did not figure what I figured out years ago after that second trip to the finals. So for the last couple of years, I've said Jimmy's body is beaten up and worn down from all the years of playing. And, you know, all that stuff that we kept hearing, oh, he's practicing in his room and he's sweating and all that. And, oh, he's a practice fiend and all that. That all took a toll on his body. You know, when some people, I tell you the Tom Thibodeau years, it's not just his playing time. It was his practice time too. And all of that took a toll on his body. So Frankie, I have been super consistent for a few years now that I kept saying that body's worn out, that body will break down. And here we are halfway through the season and he's done. I don't wish it on the guy or anything like that, but I'm just telling you, he is what he is. Go look at my video when they drafted Tua. I said it right there and then. You can draft him. I mean, I know the kid can throw the ball, but he's a sack of injuries. Expect him to get injured. And what did we see? So, again, none of this shit is ever hindsight. None of it. I talk about it ahead of time, and I always say it. I tell you about Scatterboo, that you can't play like that, and there it goes. I'm telling you about Jackson Dart, and eventually that's going to happen. As many trips to the tent that he's had if he keeps playing that way. You know, just you got to be alert on some of this stuff. X was another guy that had trouble off the field and injuries on the field, and you had to take advantage, and you didn't. So Golden State, they're the fucking dumbasses. And I'm glad that they're stupid, and I'm glad that Miami finally got rid of Jimmy Butler after being stupid. So none of it is hindsight. I've been saying it for a while. That body's worn out and done. He can still play. That doesn't mean, dude, I saw Bernard, you're too young, Frankie, but I saw Bernard King come back from a real devastating knee injury, because nowadays all knee injuries pretty much can be repaired and you can come back and be just as good, maybe even better sometimes or whatever. It's not like the UCL one for the throwing elbow that you really do come back better in Tommy John, but you can. It's happened before, okay? It's not the case here, you know? So this is just a kind of situation that this is a guy that's worn down, and I'm not surprised that he's out for the year with a knee injury. Just not. What else do we have? Ocala Joe says, I felt Mario was too conservative in the first half and missed having cojones, which might have made a difference with momentum. The first half, yeah, I don't think it was Mario. I just think that the coach was kind of getting stumped. Now, I will, as I said yesterday in the postgame show, they were running up the middle constantly. My wife goes, why don't they go to the right side? Why is it always in the middle? And then eventually they bust the one to Mark Fletcher to the right, and he takes it for a touchdown. She goes, you see? Why didn't they mix it up? So I think Dawson didn't have a good first half. He had a better second half. He started using motion and stuff, and it kind of freed some people up. And they blocked a little better also in the second half, but the first half they got manhandled, man. They got handled by Indiana. Absolutely handled. So please smash the hell out of the like button, okay? What else? Rosendo Bernard King from the Knicks. Now that's old school. Yeah, but you remember, right? When he came back, that's coming back from an injury. He was a force. Now, it ran out of gas right away. He can only do it because it was probably knee on knee, bone on bone when he came back from that stuff. He probably had very little cartilage and all that, but he played out of his mind, dude. Like, you felt really good. Again, I'm not a Knicks guy. I don't care about the Knicks, but it was such a great story for him to come back in those days from knee injuries, which in those days it was a death sentence for your career. And he came back and played out of his freaking mind, dude. And you could tell there was a lot of adrenaline playing through that knee, because there's no way that knee was good enough to do what he did. It was just balls and character and toughness from Bernard King to come back from that shit. You know, but nowadays you can come back from it and you can play. But in Jimmy's, he has had a lot of wear and tear. And that's why I kept warning people, get away from this guy. His body is a time bomb. Boom. So, what can I tell you? You know, the Sportstradamus strikes again. That's all we can tell you. And by the way, thanks to the Canes last night. They didn't win, but we won. I took them plus 8.5. Live, I got 9.5. And then I got 11.5. So they got me some free Bitcoin yesterday, because every bet I doubled. You know, I felt good about the points, and I was right about the points. And I always tell you guys, go to the live line, because the live line is where the value is at. And I got my 8.5 before the game started a few days ago. And then I got my 9.5 during the game. And when they scored and took the lead, I got an 11.5. And I was a happy camper, because I felt like it would be kind of a tight score. Sadly, the mistakes is what did them in, and it is what it is, you know. So it just tip your hat, man. They're the better team. They deserve to win, and it sucks for us. But listen, they're celebrating their first. We were looking for our sixth. The thing I do feel for some of you out there is that some of you were looking for your first, because there's some young people out there that have not experienced what it's like to live through the first title. And then there's some of you out there that are pretty young, but you've only been through one title. You know what I'm saying? And so it's been 25 years since that last title. And plus you watch the following year them steal it from the Canes, because that should have been the sixth title. You and I know that. Vinny Testaverde should have won the 7th title. You and I know that. Cleveland Gary should have won the 8th title. You and I know that. Well, those of us that have been around for all of this. Okay. But hey, man, you know, shit happens, unfortunately. Think about that. If we get the Cleveland Gary title, if we get the Vinny Testaverde title, okay, if we get the Ken Dorsey title, and you would have won last night, that would be 9. Okay? 9. Just say it. Those of us that have lived it, we haven't recovered from all of those. That Fiesta Bowl was right there for the taking if it wasn't for Jimmy Johnson's stupid ass. If he wasn't such a freaking moron and a stubborn ass moron, that's why he passes up on Randy Moss. You know, that's why he stripped Marino of his audibles. That's why he traded Kirby and cut Byers and got rid of Irving Fryer, because he's a stubborn ass. You know, should have had that one. Should have had that one. Okay. Big O, did you see Mendoza's passer rating after the Oregon game? It was something like 243. I've never seen that, even from the greats. Marino, Brady, Montana, incredible. Efficiency wasn't necessarily a thing back in the day as much as it is nowadays. The Marino era, if you look at the numbers, they're not super efficient. It's a different style of football in those days. G. Metellus says Bernard King was one of those most underappreciated great scorers of all time. Agree? 100%. 100%. That's why, George, if you live that and you know what I'm talking about, it didn't matter what team you rooted for. When Bernard King came back from that knee injury, we were all fans because it was so rare to come back from knee injuries, and then to play at the level that he played was just like a showcase every single night that he played, and it was just a pleasure. And it was just also the overcoming the human interest story of it was outstanding, dude. You know, it was a really, really cool story. Nowadays, it's nothing. Nowadays, a guy comes back from a knee injury, and okay, well, we've seen it a whole bunch of. In those days, it was something to watch, dude. It was something to watch. And again, it was half of it had to have been balls, because his knee wasn't good, because it only lasted like 2 years, and that's it. He was done, pretty much. That 1 year was great, and then he had a decent year after that, and then it was done, I think, if I remember correctly. But that's because he could only sustain it, because the knee was only good enough for so much. I can't imagine what he was going on behind the scenes and icing and treatment and all that during that time. I don't know any of the stories, but I would imagine it was pretty brutal for him during those days. What a tough son of a bitch. Jesus Christ. To come back from that in those days and to put up what he did, that was crazy. Rosendo says the 86 championship against the Nittany Lions still hurts today. I've never recovered from it. I've never recovered from it because it was the easiest championship to lose. Like, all you had to do was hand it off to Highsmith and you easily win the game. Instead, we have a stupid-ass coach that keeps letting Vinny Testaverde throw one interception after another after he threw 4 in the Sugar Bowl the year before. Like, don't you have isn't the muscle memory in your mind right now, Jimmy, that the guy choked like a dog against Tennessee the year before? You know, I got a choker at quarterback, no matter how talented he is. Hey, let me go with Alonzo Highsmith because we're dominating on the ground. No, we're going to win by the air with 8 people flooding the zone. Jesus Christ. What a stupid-ass coach. Let's see. Blue says this town is cursed. Hometown kid beats hometown team in hometown stadium. You can't make this stuff up. Why does South Florida talent leaves and goes somewhere else, then comes back and beats us? The uneducated, huh? It's crazy. Anyway, why even waste my time? Alexis, Dawson is an issue. I don't like him. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. How do I blame Dawson for a block, for a missed field goal? How do I blame Dawson for a block punt that ends up for 7 points? How do I blame Dawson for Beck throwing a stupid interception? Not exactly sure. You know what I'm saying? There's several plays there. They easily could have won the game. Really the players had to come through. Players failed last night. They had opportunities to make plays, and they failed. And they turned over the ball, and they committed stupid penalties in key moments and made life that much more impossible for them. So, I don't know, dude. I didn't like the first half. I can agree, but I got to blame the players here on this one. They had a chance. They had an opportunity. Carter Davis had a chance to make that field goal. You could have blocked everybody and made sure that punt. Malachi Toney, who was fantastic. Why the F are you fielding that punt inside the 5? Why? There's 20-something seconds left. Beck, why are you throwing that ball? Get half the yards. Get closer. Make it more doable for you. You got plenty of time. I'm not going to do that, bro. Can I say the coaching staff came through? No, but I'm certainly not going to give the players a break. They all had an opportunity to do exactly what Indiana does, play clean football like they did against Ohio State, and they chose to play the sloppy game they played against Ole Miss. So I'm sorry, dude. You and I are going to disagree on this. I'm not gonna blame Dawson on this one. I'm going to blame everybody, and especially the players who had an opportunity to make plays. They had opportunities to catch a ball, to make a block, to not fumble the ball, to not throw it away, whatever it is. And they screwed up constantly throughout that game. They made life harder on themselves than it had to be. So I kind of disagree with you on that one. If it will be Ewers and Justin Fields. Hafley saw Fields as the best at DC at Ohio State. Next year does not matter. We get our QB in 2027. I hope not. Not the QB thing. I hope we don't get Justin Fields. Justin Fields sucks. He can't throw, dude. Okay? I don't give a shit about any of that. Justin Fields can't throw. He never has been able to throw. He's a super tough kid. Good kid, by the way, overall. Athletic, can run, has no accuracy. And it's not ever going to get fixed. Okay? So I would, you want me to start judging them? Go ahead and sign that guy. That's going to really kick it off well with me. I will be ripping you if you sign that idiot. Okay? Because that guy can't play football. That guy is not a quarterback at all. He has no business being at the NFL level playing quarterback. So I hope they don't sign Justin Fields. Because if they do, well, then the rip job starts. Okay? You draft anybody you want in the second or third day if you want, and then go sign a veteran is what you do. That's what I would do if I'm them. But not like a Justin Fields. No, go get me somebody that's actually played football and can actually play and be a facilitator for you and be kind of a leader in the locker room and help some of the other guys. That's kind of what I would do. You know, that's the best thing for the Miami Dolphins in this transition time. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And remember, you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. You can send in your questions and comments anytime that you're listening to the show. Day or night, overnight, whatever it is, you can send in the donation and send in your questions and comments, and we will get back to you as always, and thank you for it. We appreciate it. Visit our amazing sponsors like EJD Construction, Caneswear, Big O10 is the code, Sloman's Home Shield, 1-800-ALARM-ME, Laser Eye Center of Miami, Toyota of Hollywood, Acura of Pembroke Pines, All Year Cooling and Plumbing, Hialeah Park Casino, BigCheeseMiami.com, R&M Contractors, Murias Dental, and Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Visit our amazing sponsors. Remember, at Subaru, you will get $500 off. Use that QR code, mention our name. They'll take care of you. We thank our amazing sponsors. Without our sponsors, we're nowhere. We appreciate all of you out there tuned in. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, or if you made a donation, we thank you, thank you, thank you. Without that, we don't survive. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's kind of shady because I have an operation early in the morning. And then I will decide after what kind of a show I do, if I do a show or whatever, because, man, I'm waking up like at 4 something in the morning. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'll come back and take a nap and then try to do a show or something, because usually when I don't rest a lot, it's not good for my voice. So I need rest. So I don't know how I'm going to handle tomorrow's show. Okay. Thursday will definitely be at Hialeah Park at 2 p.m. But I don't know how I'm going to handle tomorrow's show or if I'm going to do a show. So there is a possibility that I don't even do a show tomorrow. Don't know. But we'll see. But I will have my operation tomorrow. I appreciate all of you out there. We shall see you. Thanks to Sean Stanley, by the way, and David Furones. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow sometime on the Bat Channel.